Well, hello, vinyl community people. On a Saturday, it's Mike MGK Boston back on, an abysmal Saturday. It's raining. Let's get this out of the way before summer. That's all I can say about that. It's not even April showers. It's March showers bring April showers, I guess, right? So, I was just lying around and song popped up. I'll get to it and what inspired this video. So, what I got thinking was, ties into kind of a live stream I watched the other night. It was Jeff Witcher as the host with Aaron Mutha Alomar and our good friend Gary at Physical Format Rock and Roll, sometimes Physical Format Jazz. It depends on the mood he's in. But it was really interesting conversation. It was kind of like, well, where did your musical journey begin? And what were you listening to when you were a kid kind of thing? And around your house, with your, the environment, your parents, were they listening to music or not? It was interesting. So kind of inspired a bit by that. And then this song I heard today. Like as I've mentioned before, my parents had me when they were 40, a late arrival, if you will. So their music was, they were married in 1949. Their stuff was big band and jazz and swing music, all that good stuff. And they never they never liked rock and roll, but they never deterred me from exploring it, clearly. So as a kid, they encouraged me to whatever you want to listen to. And by the way, here's a set of headphones. I remember one Christmas when I was probably 8th grade. My dad gave me these big cone Pioneer headphones. There was no sound getting out of there, so he didn't have to hear my music. Anyway, you probably saw the video maybe last fall with my mother, who's in her 95th year, and she told about some of those experiences where they'd go to the dances, ballroom dancing and stuff. So anyway, that sort of backstory. So, so this is a thread, and I'm not going to make you spell anything in this thread, but this thread is share 5 artists, 5, right? That's my Chris Profi imitation, 5. 5 artists, solo band, doesn't matter, that you were listening to when you were, say, 12, 13 years old. So you're kind of on that cusp of entering grade 9, entering high school, that next phase in life. So you're in that period of, your little kid music, moving into maybe whatever you're into, right? Or you were getting into at the time. So anyway, so we'll just dive right in. Let me see here. So at that time, so when I was probably 11 or 12, I was into shit like this, right? Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. A lot of K-Tel stuff. Here's a compilation here. It's pure rock, right? It's not soft rock. It's pure rock. The back here. Who do we got on here? Carry On Wayward Son, Kansas, Dream On, Aerosmith, Don't Look Back, Boston. Toto. There's a Toto tune on here. There's a Canadian tune on here. A Trooper. Raise a little hell for some Canadian content. And of course, I was listening to this, right? And I shared that story in a comment with Jeff Witcher. Always makes me, whenever I see that record, I think of my dad, my dear old dad. So I was probably 11 years old at Christmas. And that was the first, other than a K-Tel album, that's the first, this Kiss Alive. That's the first thing I had as far as a legit rock album. And my dad had to go to Sam the Record Man in our little town, and he knew the owner. He'd go in there, and my dad was not typically buying Kiss albums, so he always had a funny story about walking up to the counter and buying that. But that's how good a guy he was and such a good sport that he was, my dad. So anyway, 5 artists, right? So let's dive into it. Yes, so right here, The Doors. So I remember being 7th grade, clearly, March break, going to Florida with my parents to Cocoa Beach. They loved Cocoa Beach, Cape Kennedy, and then we'd drive inland and go to Disney for a day, all that stuff. And so we were down there for almost a 2-week holiday. They took me out of school for an extra week because we drove down, I remember. And met this kid from Quebec. Because a lot of people from Ontario and Quebec would go to Florida and Central Florida that time of year. And he had what I'd never seen a Sony Walkman before, and it was that, and he was listening to The Doors, and he had the greatest hits. This is The Doors' self-titled debut. So this was something I'd never ever heard before, and it blew me away. And it's The Doors, right? So that's a band. That's first on my list. Here's some more. LA Woman, Morrison Hotel, Strange Days, and Soft Parade. So right on. Local boy here. So where I live here in Natick, Massachusetts, if I go this way, about 2 miles on the marathon route, actually. So on Route 125, right? And you're heading eastbound, you're going to drive into the town of Wellesley. So this is Billy Squier, and this is Don't Say No. Got this, I remember, in grade 8, right before I went into high school. And like I said, he grew up in Wellesley, Mass. Went to the Berklee College of Music, very prestigious school. Didn't finish, and went out and, of course, formed a band. He went to Berklee for a year, and then took his guitar and went on his way, right? So this one's just stacked. My Kind of Lover, The Stroke, In the Dark, Lonely as the Night. There's 4 hits on that right there. So yeah, really great. Don't Say No, or whatever you do. There he is on the inside. Billy Squier, yes. All right, and where are we at? This would be my third on this list of 5 bands from when I was 12, 13 years old. Get on this thread, people. You can do it. Little backstory on this one too. So this was my introduction to Bob Seger at the time. So my introduction to Bob Seger, believe it or not, was the song Against the Wind, the title track of this record right here, as it says. So I had a 45 for that, 7-inch, whatever you want to call those, little records. And so my mother was going to Montreal with a couple of lady friends shopping one weekend. Where I grew up was Eastern Ontario. It was probably, I don't know, 2.5 hour ride at least up there to Montreal. And I said, look, if you're going to this nice mall, can you go to a record store? Can you get me this record? And my mother, it was in the summertime around my birthday. So my mother, their parents supporting my music, right? So my mom bought me this record. So that's pretty cool. And it's Against the Wind. A couple other ones on here you probably know. Her Strut, The Horizontal Bop, and of course, like I said, the title track Against the Wind. And this is pretty funny too, because there's a song on here, Betty Lou's Getting Out Tonight. And if you saw that video of my mom last fall, her name is Betty, right? She's not getting out tonight though. She's laying low. All right. Yeah, here's the fourth band on this list of 5, right? REO Speedwagon, right? They'd been at it for a number of years, but this was their big Grand Slam commercial success. And this was a record I got the summer right before I went into 9th grade. I remember like it was yesterday, because this was a brand new album in 1981. Big deal. High Infidelity, right? Great. I love the cover art on that too. This just plays like a greatest hits album, as the saying goes. Don't Let 'Em Go. Keep On Loving You. In Your Letter. Take It on the Run. Tough Guys. I mean, it's just awesome. I love it. Call it a guilty pleasure. Call it what you want. I just call it fun, and I dig it. It's REO Speedwagon, and it's High Infidelity. And last on this list of 5 artists from when I was 12, 13-year-old kid. Yes, it's Journey, right? There's no escape from Journey and all their hits. So this one was stacked too. Don't Stop Believin', Stone in Love, Who's Crying Now. It's great. Open Arms too. Who didn't slow dance to that one, right? If you're a kid of the early 80s like I am. And it's Journey, Escape, right? On the inside, I haven't looked at this in a long time. There's the guys on the back, and then the lyric sheet, and then they're running away from all the women chasing them. So yeah, these are all originals. All these records that I'm showing today, other than the CDs, I bought at the time, and I still have them. So it shows you how much I take care of my stuff, right? Doesn't that look like it's brand new, right? Journey, Escape. And here's some other Journey stuff here. You got Departure. There's a double live Captured. This is a really great double live album. Beautiful gatefold sleeve on the inside. And what do we got here? This is self-titled. This, I think, is maybe the first album with Steve Perry, because Greg Raleigh and Neil Schon, they had of course been in Santana, and then they formed another band, and then they had a different they had Journey. They did, I think, 3 records, and then that guy left, and then they brought in Steve Perry, and the band was totally different sound, way more commercial, and hugely successful, right? So there you go, the story of Journey in a nutshell. So give me 5 artists from, again, when you're like 12, 13. Come on, you got your great memories. Do it, you can do it. And yeah, I look forward to hopefully someone jumps on this thread, and we'll get it going. Anyway, on a rainy Saturday, I'll wish you well. And that's probably going to do it for me till the next Friday cheers, right? So maybe I'll have a Saturday cheers here in a bit. Yeah, got some beers in the fridge, so why not? Anyway, whatever you're doing, wherever you're in the world, hope you're having fun, and I'll see you next time.